Hello everyone and welcome to the As Seen on TV Ravenswood Pretty Little Liars spinoff, Season 1, Episode 1 pilot. I'm your host Dom, and with me I have my co-host Omikins.
Yo. It's
awfully dark in here. It's kind of like Ravenswood. Did you notice that jumping right into when Pretty Little Liars this past season and stuff? They, as soon as they jumped, there's a whole palette switch. Did you notice that? It's like you go from Rosewood, which is a very bright town and very full palette. As soon as they went into Ravenswood, it was like this dull, like bluish. Did you notice? Like, was that very apparent to you?
Foggy, misty.
Yeah.
It had kind of a heavy feel, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. I liked it. It was very dark.
Yes, I was expecting a lot from it.
Yeah. I don't like the way you phrased that. Was expecting a lot from it. Take it you're not as big of a fan as you thought you were?
No, I think the previews got me really hyped up, and then when I actually watched it, I was like...
Really?
Yeah.
See, I actually enjoyed this. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But as far as where it stands in terms of the Pretty Little Liars, did you feel it was a standalone show, or did you just feel it was a supplement to Pretty Little Liars? Like you needed to have some background in Pretty Little Liars to enjoy this?
If I didn't have that tad bit of background from Pretty Little Liars, I would have been kind of lost in Ravenswood.
Yeah. I mean, the connections that they tried to piece together and stuff, it just seemed really forced. You have, like, Hannah meets, what's her name, Miranda?
Miranda, yeah.
She meets Miranda in the Pretty Little Liars episode, and Caleb also meets her there. Caleb meets her first. He's on his way to see Hannah. She's on her way to see her uncle. They both drop by at the party that Hannah and the other girls are supposed to be at, and she takes off. Caleb stays around. She goes to her house. She ends up bumping into Hannah. She meets Hannah there, lets her out of a phone booth that Hannah gets locked into, and Hannah kind of thanks her for that. And it just seemed like really weird because in that moment, that's when she was like, she walked up to Caleb and gave him a kiss, and Caleb was like, what was that for? And she goes, this is for the trust that I have to let you go to Ravenswood. I was like, what? Like, it didn't even seem like he wanted to go there with her, and it was just like Hannah was forcing this. It just seemed completely out of place and awkward to me. So the whole reason for Caleb going felt forced to me for whatever reason. So that was my only gripe with the show, was the way it was set up.
Yeah. Basically, Caleb kind of felt forced going because Hannah was getting some shit she shouldn't have gotten in the first place. So he was probably kind of disappointed and annoyed that she was there in the first place, and he had to get on a bus and he couldn't drive his car, and it just seemed like it was a hindrance.
Yeah. Well, the show seems to be going a completely different direction from Pretty Little Liars. It's got ghosts, they're attacking Caleb, they're attacking Miranda, they trying to scare them off, get them to leave, whatever the case may be. Does this really fit in the Pretty Little Liars universe? Like, that's another minor thing that set me off, like, in a weird way, because the Pretty Little Liars has always seemed like it's based in reality, like that show, and you don't take any of the other things as happenstance or coincident. Like, everything happens for a reason there, and it happens with a purpose. And then Ravenswood, it's like things are just happening and there's no control over it, and it's got this completely supernatural element to it, and it's like these two complete opposite worlds are clashing together when you start crossing characters over. Were you kind of getting that feel too?
Maybe that's why I didn't like it as much, because I was kind of leaning on the Pretty Little Liars, saying, oh, this is such a good series, and then it goes to Ravenswood where it has a completely different feel. And, you know, I like ghosty shows. I like supernatural stuff, but this just doesn't seem to fit.
Yeah. I don't know. The setup to it's awkward, and the fact that it's in the same universe seems a little awkward, but with all that aside, I actually did enjoy the show. I sat there, I was trying to figure out who this girl was that's attacking Caleb and Miranda. I really don't have any clue. I don't think there's enough information at this point.
No.
I was thinking maybe it was the spirit of her mother, but her mother was much older than the girl appears to be the same age as Miranda.
Yeah.
So it's not her mother. So I don't. Other than that, I really don't know. Like, it just doesn't seem like there's enough information. So, but you got one of the big things that they saw at the end of the Pretty Little Liars episode was Caleb discovered, while they were in Ravenswood, he discovered a tombstone that had his first and last name on it and a picture of himself on it.
Mm-hmm.
The tombstone was from over 100 years ago. Miranda found the exact same thing in a mausoleum. Well, not the exact same thing, but her name and face on a tombstone. If then when they get there in the Ravenswood, they don't actually show them looking at it. They do in like the previously seen on, which is kind of weird for having a first episode has a previously seen on, or kind of montage at the beginning. But when they do go back to try to find these headstones, they find that they're not there at all. And the only person, I should say, that they talked to about this was Miranda's kind of creepy uncle, the funeral director.
Yeah.
And he said that there was no Caleb in the cemetery at all, and he must have been imagining things and whatnot. So they go back to try to find this tombstone, snap a picture of it to prove him wrong, because he can't deny the fact that it was there.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go there, it's a completely different stone that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And Miranda's stone, they don't show on camera, but they imply that they went back to look at that one. That one was also changed. So, assuming that it's not a supernatural element, let's ground ourselves back in the Pretty Little Liars universe for a minute. Who do you think has motive, out of who we've met thus far, to possibly have switched the tombstones?
Grunwald. What's her name? Grunwald?
Carla Grunwald.
Yes. The housemaiden.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever she is. She's been around for a long time, and she probably knows what's going on. She looks like a creepy old lady that would, know that kind of stuff anyways, so I think she had a hand in it.
She's probably the character I was the most excited to see cross over. I did not expect, even though all we do is see her in Ravenswood, when the Pretty Little Liars were there this whole past mid-season, but didn't really click to me that she was going to be in the crossover until the first 5 minutes of the episode, and I was actually really happy that it looks like she's going to be a major part of this. So what were your feelings on her being there?
No, I agree. I was really excited to see her again because, she's a character that not many people are going to pay attention to, especially in the Pretty Little Liars series, where she's kind of just filler, but now she's playing a bigger role, and I think that she has a lot to offer. Maybe she's like a mother figure that, Miranda can actually get used to, and then she actually has a darker past, and she's related to everything that Miranda and Caleb are finding out about themselves.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. What did you think about the creepy uncle? Miranda's creepy uncle.
To be honest, anyone who runs a freaking funeral service in their house is freaking creepy.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. What do you think he's hiding? Because it just seemed like you said, he was just genuinely creepy, and I kind of dismissed it just as they're trying to make him seem creepier than he actually is, and he doesn't really have an agenda or a motive. That's just how he is, and he's very hermit-ish. Like, he's a shut-in. He deals with dead all the time. He doesn't have very much human interaction. But when that finally set in, and I was convinced that was the case, Carla turns to him and says, "It's not too late to fix this." After he pretty much he didn't intentionally drive Miranda and Caleb away. It was the ghost girl that more or less got them to leave. So that's when I was like, when Carla was like, "It's not too late to fix this," it's almost like he is controlling the girl.
It's not that he's controlling, but he is the person that Miranda went to seek out in search of family, in search of support and all that kind of stuff to, be a part of something, and he pushed her away. So, if someone pushed me away like that when I'm looking for a family, I would be like, F you, buddy.
Yeah. We clearly saw in the house, like, there's a ghost in there.
Yeah.
It was behind Miranda's chair. It left a water spot, which we did learn in the episode that the whole town was under, 6 feet of water? 100 feet of water or whatever it was?
100 feet? No, not really. Like 7.5 feet of water.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Or I meant 100 years ago. 100 feet. Wow. 100 years ago, I just said 6 feet of water. Why would I go from 6 feet to 100 feet? That's quite a drastic jump. But 100 years ago, there was like 6 feet of water or so. And then you see the girl, she's standing behind her. When she turns around to look, the girl's gone. There's a puddle of water there. So it appears that this girl drowned. Like, that's my take on that. But she's also in, or what appears, I don't even know if it was her, if it was the same person. When Caleb goes to take a bath, the shower curtain gets dragged over his head and tries to drown him under the water. But it seems like if something was to be controlling them, or someone was controlling them, don't you think the guy who deals with the dead all the time would be the perfect person to do that?
No, because he deals with the dead all the time when they're not ghosts. So, he's aware of them, obviously, but it doesn't bother him because he's lived with it all his life. So, to be honest, I don't think they can be controlled. There's going to be more than one spirit because, for crying out loud, the whole town was underwater. So there's going to be a lot of spirits running around.
100 feet of water, right?
Oh, 100 feet, yeah, totally.
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's not just him. That's the worst part. It's the whole town.
It's the whole town.
The whole town is covering
creepy.
Something up. Every single one of them. You have Luke and Olivia, their mother, quite possibly killed her husband. When you first meet them in the episode, they're scrubbing the tombstone of their father, and it says Black Widow on it, so they're accusing the mother of having killed the husband. Do you think Luke and Olivia's mother could have killed the husband? Because Luke seemed pretty adamant that it was her. When at first he was defending her, and he was anybody that would open their mouth and say anything, and then as the episode went on, he was kind of leaning toward the fact that he really deep down believed that she did do this.
Well, even if she did, he's still going to defend her because someone, bullying your sister and, saying things behind your back about you and all that kind of stuff gets on somebody's nerves. If it's even if they said their mother's a slut or whatever, and she did what she did, he's still going to stand up for his family because it's family.
Right. And then, what is it? You have, Caleb
Remy?
goes in, huh?
Remy.
Remy?
Remy's her name. If you're thinking about the same character as I am.
Newspaper?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just blanked out on Caleb, actually, for a minute there. But Caleb goes to the newspaper place, and he's trying to inquire and get some information. He figures his best bet is if somebody did move the gravestones and he wasn't just seeing things, that there would be an obituary record, and the best place to go would be at the newspaper records and whatnot. So he goes there, and Remy offers to help him, and against her father's wishes, his father is kind of trying to lead him off the trail, and Remy goes down and goes through the archives and finds all this information. She takes a picture back to Caleb. Caleb sees it, and they look identical. So it's either Caleb's relative or Caleb at one point was stuck in a time warp, or who knows? Like, we don't know where they're going with this.
We have no idea.
Time travel somewhere down the line, maybe.
Ugh.
Who knows? Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities that they could do with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the direction that they end up deciding to go. But do you think the newspaper is in charge of like the office is in charge of the cover up for the town? Because the people with the records control all the information. So
yeah,
I'm thinking if they're the ones covering it up, they're sitting in the perfect spot because they can manipulate any of the information that they want.
Okay, before we move on to that, dare I say doppelgangers to our previous talk?
I
mean, we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Not anywhere with ABC, but doppelgangers are a thing. They're actually becoming a pretty popular supernatural being.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the newspaper having all the power, that makes sense. Because, I mean, in a lot of other series that I'm watching, like Haven, for one, they do a lot of cover-ups through the newspaper. They, say, oh, it was a gas leak, or, other things like that. So, I mean, it is very possible that the newspaper is the one initially, like, basically covering everything up.
Yeah. So, probably the big kind of lead that they get is they discover a newspaper article as they're looking through, and they come across a hometown hero returns from a war, and 5 days later, 5 teens died in a tragic accident.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb's doppelganger, Miranda's doppelganger were part of this group. And apparently this has happened recently, within like 2-3 years or something, they said.
It's multiple times. I didn't really catch how many years between, but it's been multiple years. Or multiple times.
Yeah, there was the time in the newspaper, there was a time before. And somebody had returned, and then a few days later, 6 teens died, or 5 teens died, or whatever. It was 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 5 teens died at the cost of 1 living through something that they should not have in war.
Right.
And then you have, what's her name?
Remy.
Remy's mother comes home from Afghanistan, returns, was in a position where her troop was completely wiped out. She doesn't know how she lived.
Mm-hmm.
So they're setting up, here it goes again. You just happen to get 5 people in the car. You have Remy, Caleb, Miranda, Luke, and his twin sister Olivia. All happen to be in the right place at the right time, or should I say the wrong place at the wrong time. They're all in the car. This song comes on the radio. Forget the title of the song, but I do know the band is the Civil Wars.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, very, very interesting band.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, this ghost that was haunting them in her uncle's house, in Miranda's uncle's house, appears on the road. Miranda grabs the wheel and cuts it to try to avoid hitting her, not realizing it's a ghost at the time. They go off the bridge, land in the water. Caleb tries, break the windows down, open the doors, the pressure's too strong, and the car sinks. It submerges.
It's a deep fucking river.
As they're listening to the song. And it was kind of a creepy song.
Yeah, it was.
It reminded me a lot of, I think it was Final Destination 4 or 3. Turn Around, Look at Me, whatever one had that song in it. It was very reminiscent of that kind of feel to me, where you knew something bad was going to happen when this song came on the radio. And they go down, they're sinking while this song is playing. And the show just ends.
It just ends.
They just leave you with the car almost completely submerged underwater.
Well,
all you can hear is the music faintly.
They had to do something interesting to keep everybody watching because the rest of the show was pretty horrible.
See, I didn't think the rest of the show was that bad. I like the setup. I like the introduction of the characters. I like the backstory of the town. You know, maybe it could have been presented a little bit better, but I didn't think it was boring or awful by any means.
I don't know.
The ending left a little more to be desired. It wasn't like, oh my god, I have to tune in next week to see if they get out of the car.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm going to watch next week. You gonna continue?
Well, I've had some issues with the premieres or first episodes during this fall season for a lot of series, and then, watch the next episode and I like it a little bit more. Next episode, like it a little bit more than that. So, I mean, maybe I'll gradually get into this series, but, the first episode is, your first impression, so I'm still kind of, like, on the fence about it.
Right. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to tune in next week to see if this gets any better for Umi. In the meantime, so people can follow your nail-biting adventures trying to figure out what is going on in Ravenswood, as to see if you are more and more excited, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
And you can follow us on youtube.com/ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Until next week, see you guys later.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll have the lights on next time.
Maybe.
Doubt it.
Doubt it.